Text 81333, start your text 3CR. And of course, throughout the course of the rush hour from 4 o'clock, travel every 15 minutes. Can robots ever be trusted? Now, the ones who make the Vauxhall vans in Luton or the ones who put baked beans into the cans can, of course. But what about the future? Could robots take over like in The Terminator? They started off with the best of intention. Before you know it, World War III. Terrible. A group of researchers in Hertfordshire are trying to make sure they can never take over with a new £1.2 million project. Professor Kerstin Dautenhahn is from the Adaptive Systems Research Department at the University of Hertfordshire. Professor, very grand title.
Hello.
Welcome to the programme. How real is the threat from robots?
Well, we are not so much concerned about robots taking over. This is more the domain of science fiction, but we are concerned about, for example, putting robots in someone's home as assistants, as companions, being able to help them, and how do people respond to them? Do people, for example, trust that it is physically safe to use the robot? Do they trust in the robot's goals, in the robot's intentions? Do they trust that the robot is actually helpful to them? So these are the type of things that here at University of Hertfordshire we will investigate in the next 3.5 years.
So what sort of robots are you talking about? Because it's all about artificial intelligence at the end of the day. Are you talking about the chip, the circuit board that's in, I don't know, my television, or the circuit board in one of those fancy Honda robots that you see on television walking upstairs very gingerly?
We are talking about serious robots, so not toy robots, not these little entertainment robots that you can buy. So, for example, we have different types of robots in our robot house where we do the studies here at University of Hertfordshire. They are human-sized but not humanoid, so they have a shape so that they're able to communicate and interact with people and also help them, but they are not meant to replicate how humans look, obviously.
So when you say life-size, you're a bit like C-3PO.
Well, one of them, for example, our sunflower robot, it's about, well, I've never measured it, it's probably about 1 meter high, and it has a head that it can use in order to convey messages to the user. It has a touchpad, so you can, for example, give the robot messages. These are the type of mobile robots.
And what would that sort of mobile robot be used for?
Well, we are looking at different types of assistance. So this can be physical assistance. Imagine you are in your home because you have to stay home because you had an accident, your mobility is restricted, and you cannot move around as quickly as before. Or you might be an elderly person whose mobility is restricted because of aging. Then what you might benefit from is to have a robot that can help you carrying heavy objects, or a robot that reminds you of important appointments with the doctors, or that you should call your friends because it's their birthday. So we are talking about this whole range of physical assistant, cognitive assistance, so reminding people, but also social assistance.
Very useful, and you can see how in the future, not in the not too distant future, these things will develop to a point where perhaps they can offer some real assistance for those of us who are most in need. But how do you stop that machine from becoming too intelligent?
I'm an artificial intelligence researcher, and I'm not very concerned about that. Robots are very good these days in very specific tasks. What they are not good at is this general knowledge, this general level of intelligence, common sense knowledge that we have. So for this reason, I'm not worried at all that robots might be certain robots might be stronger than people, they might be faster than people, they might be quicker in doing mathematical calculations, but just doing the things that humans are doing, moving around in the house, doing things, arranging things, cooking, and so on. These are the real challenges for robots.
Yeah, but can you ever get to a point, can you not envisage a point in the future where you've got a personal assistant robot, for example, because to help you with your particular needs, and your robot doesn't respond? I mean, I can give you examples now where my PC doesn't respond to what I want it to do.
These are actually very interesting research questions, because this has to do with the relationship that you want to build between the user and the robot. I mean, some people might be happy to view the robot as a helper, so a robot that provides assistance, gives advice. But as you say, what happens if this robot suddenly starts bossing the person around and telling, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that? then how will people respond to that?
Because you could have a robot in the future, for example, for fat people. So when they go shopping, the robot says, "Put down the cream cake. Put down the cream cake, fatty."
Well, these are exactly these type of decisions that have to be made if you program these robots, and these are also ethical issues, because this robot can also collect information about your personal life. So everything that you're doing could potentially be recorded. And what is the robot then doing with this type of information?
That's what worries me. You've got a budget of £1.2 million. Muzzle toff to you. What will you be doing with that money?
Well, this is actually for 3 different research groups here in the UK. It involves the University of Liverpool and the Bristol Robotics Laboratory. We all focus on different aspects on trust. So, for example, the group in Liverpool studies formal verification processes. So how can we ensure from the robot software point of view that it is not creating behavior that makes it unsafe to interact with the user? And the Bristol Robotics Laboratory focuses on manufacturing scenarios, so not this home assistance, but more having your robot in a factory as a co-worker.
Pleasure talking to you, Professor. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Professor Kerstin Dautenhahn from the Adaptive Systems Research Department at the University of Hertfordshire. She's a robot expert. I tell you what, if you think of the future with so many people becoming elderly and infirm, suffering from Alzheimer's, the idea of a machine, a robot-style machine, helping you in everyday life is remarkable. And it's not impossible with the advance in technology. Far from it, of course. But how do you stop that from becoming too clever? I know people think, "Oh, Rob, what are you talking about? Robots with artificial intelligence?" But think how clever these machines are. If you saw the robotic systems that build the average family car, they're breathtaking. So what happens if they become too clever? Text 81333, start your text 3CR, because they always say it will never happen. The robots will be safe. That's what they said in Terminator.
Just have a little patience.